Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Welcome to the Revelation 13 podcast. The Revelation 13 podcast presents breaking news.
Hello and welcome to the Revelation 13 podcast. I'm your host Mike Hopwood, and we start off this news update with a bit of somber news. An Oklahoma pastor was found slain in her Pentecostal church. The pastor was killed and her body was found inside her Pentecostal church, where she had no regular congregation but went every Sunday on the chance that someone would come and pray, authorities said Monday. Police found the body of Carol Daniels, 61, of Oklahoma City about noon Sunday inside the Christ Holy Sanctified Church in Andarquio. The small, weathered A-frame building sits along a main road a block from the police station in a town of about 6,600 people, about 60 miles southwest of Oklahoma City. Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation spokeswoman Jessica Brown said that Daniels had trauma to her body, but would not disclose details, including how, when, or where Daniels died. An autopsy was to be done Monday. The pastor's body was found after police were asked to check on her. Brown said she could not immediately say who asked the police to look on Daniels. Brown said that the church did not have any regular congregation, but that Daniels was there every Sunday in case people came in to pray or hear a sermon. From the little bit I know about her, she was very dedicated to her calling, Brown said. Mitchell Darvis, who lives next door to the church, said Monday that Daniel's car was usually the only vehicle at the church, which is near an alley where he said men sometimes congregate and drink. They sit back there, and some of them sleep there, he said. The church, some of its paint peeling and the screen door torn, overlooks an area that includes 2 vacant homes and an abandoned car wash. Brown said detectives were seeking to talk to people who live near the church and do more extensive interviews with family and friends. Officials spoke on Sunday with several people who gathered around the building after word of the slaying spread. Many of them wept and hugged each other. Vic Bryan, who owns a nearby antique business called Linda's Swap Shop, said the area is usually quiet. We've had very little trouble over the years with anything, especially anything like this, he said. Daniels was a graduate of Douglas High School in Oklahoma City and the University of Central Oklahoma in Edmond. She is survived by her adult daughter, Rainey. Daniels' mother, Charlesetta Dunlap, said the family had no further information about the circumstances and wasn't ready to talk about Daniels. We don't know anything yet, she said. And in later times, they had said that she had suffered knife trauma and that the body had been staged. Very much like a serial killing or even a cult-like killing. But it's hard to say. I mean, if you're in an area where there's potentially, transients, that can cause it too. But you hate to see anything bad to happen to anybody. And sometimes when it happens to Christians too, it's a bad scene, and makes you wonder about the spiritual components, that go behind this slaying. In a similar article, we have an article that says possessed teen stabs 3 younger siblings. Suspects told cops he was zombie-like, paper says. This is from New York City. A troubled Bronx teen, allegedly in a zombie-like trance, stabbed 2 younger brothers and his sister yesterday and was prevented from murdering them by Good Samaritan, authorities said. Cops say 17-year-old Nelson Santos, who lost it about 3:30 p.m. and attacked his 2 brothers, ages 13, 6, and his 9-year-old sister, with a knife in their second-floor apartment in Morrisana. Police did not give a motive for the stabbing or what type of weapon was used, but the Daily News reports Santos told cops he was zombie-like and used a butcher knife. A police source told the paper the boy said he was seeing demons, and neighbors said he practiced black magic. Drenched in his own blood, 13-year-old Miguel Santos, who was stabbed nearly a half-dozen times, dashed out of his living room and downstairs to call for help. Neighbor John Flores, 19, told the news that Nelson Santos was screaming something about the Armageddon and chasing his younger brother with the big kitchen knife as long as my forearm. The hero neighbor wrestled with Santos as he tried to stop them. His mother, Delilah, was able to grab the butcher knife out of his clutches, according to the paper. Cops caught up with Santos outside the apartment complex and arrested him on assault charges. The distraught teen was taken to a hospital for psychiatric evaluation, reports the news. All the victims were transported to St. Barnabas Hospital. Cops said the youngest, James, was hospitalized in serious condition with a wound to his torso. The 13-year-old boy was listed as in stable condition with a wound to his torso, and his 9-year-old sister was listed as stable condition with lacerations to her chest, police said. Again, you have another sad situation, but this you have a definite link to Satanism, occultism. People get involved in these things, and there's a price, and things can take you over. You open yourself up to possession. You open yourself up to doing things that you wouldn't do for whatever, and people join for different reasons, but in the end, it all leads to their destruction. Our next article comes from WorldNet Daily. Arabs pressure Obama to endorse strike on Iran. White House believes that talks will stop Tehran's interest from going nuclear. Jerusalem. For the first time since coming into office, President Obama is under serious pressure to study the possibility of an Israeli military strike against Iran, a top Egyptian intelligence official told WorldNet Daily. The Egyptian official said that the pressure does not only come from Israel but also from Arab countries such as Saudi Arabia that are at odds with Iran and its Shiite theocracy. The official said Prince Saud al-Faisal, the Saudi foreign minister, has been involved in an intense behind-the-scenes lobbying effort, urging the U.S. and other Western countries to do everything possible or necessary to ensure Iran does not obtain nuclear weapons. Such weapons would threaten Saudi Arabia's position of influence in the Middle East. The Egyptian official said his country believes it is not likely Obama will grant Israel permission to attack Iran. He spoke about other Arab countries' efforts to oppose Iranian nuclear umbrella, but did not comment on Egypt's own position on the matter. Egypt recently granted Israel permission to conduct naval exercise off Egyptian coastal waters. Those military drills were clearly aimed at Iran. Also, recent reports in the Arab media, denied by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office, claimed Saudi Arabia granted Israel overflight permission for any aerial raid on Iran's nuclear facilities. Until now, the Obama administration has sent mixed signals about greenlighting Israeli military action against Iran, while stressing it supports diplomacy with an Iranian leadership that has spurred the possibility of talks. Last month, Vice President Joe Biden said during a CNN interview the U.S. would not stand in the way if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu believes Israel